All right, let's call the village board meeting to order. This is number 3112. It's February 8th, 2016. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Abernathy. Present. Kim.
Here.
Norton.
Here.
Rikus.
Here.
Russell.
Here.
Semple.
Here.
Very good. Will all those who are able please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone that's watching on the streaming live, as well as everyone here with us at Village Hall. Tonight we have, although fewer items on the agenda than perhaps normal, we have a few very important things to go over. First, we're going to hear tonight, just as a little preview, a report from the Lake County Partners. They give a report to us every year. Mike Stevens is here for that. We're going also to vote on approving Amanda Orenchuk as the acting director of our Community Development Department, as well as perhaps, we're going to vote on paying some bills and a few other things as well. So, let's get going. First, we have approval of minutes. I need a motion, please, to approve the Board of Trustees' regular meeting minutes from January 25th, 2016.
So moved.
Motion by Kim.
Second.
Second by Russell. Discussion? All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Kim.
Yes.
Russell.
Yes.
Abernathy.
Yes.
Semple.
Yes.
Norton.
Present.
Rikus.
Yes.
Very good, thank you. Motion carries. Next up is public commentary. Is anyone here wish to address the village board at this time? We have a hand over here. Anyone else? Two hands, okay. Let's start here and then we'll go start in the, yes, please, right up here where the mic already is lit up for you. Just give us your name, please, and your address if you so desire.
My name is James Lundberg. I live at 209 West Maple Avenue, apartment C, right off of 176.
Excuse me, could you just please spell your last name for me?
Lundberg.
Thank you.
Not a problem. So I came here, Holly gave me the idea to come here, and I've talked to Dakota about this before. But I was coming here to see if we could potentially start here in the city a municipal fiber project for like a municipal ISP. I know Google is potentially coming here to the Chicagoland area to bring their fiber project here, but we could potentially either make our own or one-up them by starting the process of looking at our infrastructure, whether it's possible to bring a fiber project here and whatnot, and then present the information to Google and give them the information, show that we've already done all the legwork, and they could potentially then come in on top of it. And if they don't want to, we could build it ourselves, because honestly, I'm paying like $140 a month for internet for a 100 megabit connection. And in, for example, Chattanooga, Tennessee, I can buy a 1 gigabit connection for $70. And Comcast wants me to pay $300 for a 2 gigabit connection, when in some places that's what you can get for 10 gigabits. So I wanted to see if we could possibly start something like that and put something together, and maybe either get Google or build one ourselves.
Okay. It's a very interesting idea, and it's one that we've had internal discussions about pursuing greater thought on that.
Right.
It's obviously very expensive.
Yeah, no, I'm aware of that.
Right? I mean,
It can be expensive. I wasn't able to get the information from a friend of mine who had given me before, but I believe there are incentives like the FCC and some government programs to help communities build out their own. And if we built our own and it became popular enough, then we could also then expand it to potentially Libertyville or Grays Lake and build out further and bring in more money. And we can also set it up as a 50c3 nonprofit. So every year we show what all the money is being used for. All the money we bring in goes back into the infrastructure. And the village and everybody living here can then see how we spend the money, where is it going to, what we're looking to do in the future. Because as we all know, Comcast and AT&T are very transparent about all that stuff. And pretty much we have no choice, and this would be forcing competition and potentially could bring more business here because people will see, hey, we've got great prices. And then we can also offer voice over IP for phone and our own TV packages. So it would make Mundelein to a more lucrative city to come to live to open up a business, potentially a business in, if it's possible for us to afford and actually build up the program and whatnot, or convince Google to come here and whatnot.
Well, at the end of the day, there are other utilities and sub-utility efforts, and you create what's called an enterprise fund, and it is all enclosed in just that effort.
Right.
And to build that infrastructure and get it going, it's like a mini business, basically.
Right.
It is a business that has to break even or do better.
Right. I mean,
So-
that's why I said we could also at least lay down, see how our city is, and see how what we can do if it's possible, because then that gets the legwork for Google to come in and just do it themselves too. Because part of them is talking with the city, seeing what the city's layouts look like, the utilities, where all the power lines are, all the water mains, and anywhere they could lay fiber down. And if we were able to figure that stuff out ahead of time and present them with that information, it could potentially be more incentive to bring them here. Because I know they're saying Chicago, but that's very vague for where they'll be. And this could be a chance to maybe even, if we don't build it ourselves, at least give them the information and potentially make Mundelein a starter city for the Chicagoland area, and then they can expand out from there. But we can prove that we have the capacity to do it. Because I know Comcast already has fiber here, so it's possible. We just would have to see what the layout's like and whatnot.
Well, AT&T has fiber here as well.
Yeah, I know they announced it, but I don't have it available in my area yet.
Well, it's at the second building in Cardinal Square over there.
Right.
That's the first building in Lake County to have AT&T's Gigapower.
Right, yeah, I just read they
1,000
released it
megabits.
here just recently.
Yeah, and so they've already established a little hub here. So hopefully they'll expand out from there, and we're certainly encouraging them.
Right, oh, this is more just to foster competition, just because with only Comcast and AT&T, it's a duopoly. We don't, the prices are gonna stay high, because anywhere another player's come into the market, be it municipal or Google, for example, prices have plummeted. TV packages usually go down when, if you do TV, but internet usually gets slashed in half or down lower, because if you ask right now, they'll say it's too expensive to drop it, it's too expensive to maintain. But if Google were to come here, Google, I know, went to Chattanooga, Tennessee, where they've got their own. Comcast said they couldn't lower prices, but then they built their own municipal, and mysteriously, prices dropped. The prices they couldn't drop could drop. And it's just a way to make Mundelein look more lucrative, to help the people save more money and potentially bring in more business. And in this case, maybe just show Google that, hey, we're able to do this, bring it to us, we'll maybe help you at least get the planning stages done with, as long as you can bring your money and manpower to set everything up.
Okay. I like the idea.
Yeah.
It's a numbers, of course.
Yeah, no, it's a
At the end
numbers
of the
game,
day,
but it's a
about
thought to
dollars
show
and
that
cents, right?
there's interest and whatnot,
Yes.
so.
I would say, on my part, there's great interest. I'll just tell you that. But I don't know if anyone wants to comment, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you for
very
your
much.
time.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Ralph Dillon, Post Office Box 908, Mundelein. I'm talking now because I know this will be my only opportunity to speak unless I come back next week, next time you have a meeting. According to your agenda, Amanda Orenchek is going to be the acting director of community development. A lot of this is for Amanda because she's new. I can't talk to a couple goofy things like the cell phone tower, and I can't talk to the truck terminal. I don't know those that well. But I can talk to the grain gas station at Midlothian and 6083. Amanda, you need to know that so far the city has broke zoning laws, they broke annexation law, they failed to appropriately notify. They're conspiring to steal unbuilt hawthorn from the homeowners in West Shore Park. They ignore the land covenants. They made Victor Cabrera leave. Nobody says why. They're also conspiring to deceive the gaming board that the 1 acre Graham truck stop is really a 3 acre truck stop. I want you to remember, Amanda, that I've read through your insurance policy. It does not cover illegal acts. Your indemnification doesn't cover illegal acts. I don't want you to sign anything for your own good that's illegal. I'm concerned illegal conveyance is a criminal act. The city wants to sell the West Shore Park land for $28,000. Everybody here is probably going to say, I was just going along with orders. Well, the Eichmann defense during World War II at the Nuremberg trials, that I was only following orders, didn't work. I wish you the best in your new job. Be honest, follow the law. I hope you keep the job so that the money that's saved will offset the existing pension shortage. We're spending too much money on overhead. That's number one. Number two from the agenda, the city is voting to pay the lawyer. The way I see it, it's bad advice, means higher fees from extra work. His redo work should be covered by errors and omissions insurance, or he should be reported for fleecing money from the city on work that never should have been done. I would like to see you vote no on at least part of those legal fees. The last one you're talking about is vacational land. You should give that back to the developer or his heirs, like the alley that's east of Lake Street near Hawthorne, like the Beckett Crossing vacated land, like the Cambridge Homes vacated lands. Don't steal that land like you were trying to do with the Graham Station. As for the board, if you are to act like naughty children caught by the vice principal, you will say nothing and not refute what I've said. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, we'll close the floor to public commentary and move on to the presentations. We have Lake County Partners presentation. Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to the board for having me here this evening.
There we go.
All right, we'll wait for my slide presentation. It's great. Here it comes.
We're waiting. Did the
There.
governor come out today?
The governor came out today and spoke with some of our community business leaders, and it was a nice event. Talked a little bit about what he's looking to do on public-private partnership for the state, which would be a great asset. We need a strong partner at the state to attract jobs and new investment and really get jobs into our pipeline. So here's the start of the presentation. Once again, I'm Michael Stevens. I'm with Lake County Partnership for Economic Development. I want to start off by thanking the village for its long-term investment in our economic development efforts. It's critical to the success that we've been experiencing lately in economic development. Lake County Partners is a 501c3 not-for-profit economic development corporation. Our mission is to help maintain and improve the quality of life and economic vitality of Lake County Partners. We serve as a premier and vibrant economic development organization focused on business retention, business expansion, and business attraction. Back in 2013, we approved what we call the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, or the CEDS. This is such an important topic that I put 2 slides in. And in the CEDS, what it really is, it's a blueprint for our economic future here in Lake County. It's a cluster strategy where we look at the businesses that we have in place that exist in Lake County and see where the strength of those businesses are and where we can grow. So we found 5 targeted industries as part of the CEDS. While they're all very important, the one that I want to call out is the arts, culture, and entertainment. So the first 4 really focus on employment here in Lake County and in the village. The 5th one, it's not as much of an employment driver as it is a talent attraction strategy and how important it is to bring professionals to Lake County that want to live and work here. For the first 4, over 1/3 of Lake County residents work in those 4 industries. It makes up less than 20% of the businesses in Lake County. As we've worked to implement this economic development strategy, there's been 3 areas we've been focused on. I'll talk a little bit later on. It's been marketing and outreach, better alignment with our workforce partners. And that's what are we doing to make sure that that talent pipeline exists to continue to meet the needs of the industry that we have in Lake County. And then we've worked on some organization capacity building at Lake County Partners. On the business outreach program, which really has focused on what can we do to ensure we have that talent, we've gone out and we've talked to businesses within our SEDS industry, so biopharma, life sciences, advanced manufacturing, healthcare, as well as the professional and technology services. So in that range, and then we're working with the Workforce Development Department of the county, and we've said, we want to talk to employers that have 15 to 350 employees. And we really want to understand what their needs are, not only in the next 18 months, but in the next 5 years, where are they going? So in that, using the SEDS industry alignment as well as the employment range, we have about 630 target companies. That number floats, it changes, and we've seen that go back and forth. We expect that's going to continue to get larger. And so what we've been doing is going out and talking to these businesses and understand what issues they have in their industry. In the past year, we have spoken to over 120 businesses. What we have found out is 63% of them have some type of issue with workforce employment. So what are those issues? They're having trouble finding skilled labor. So and those are a lot of the manufacturers we've been talking to. They've also had some issue finding lower skilled labor. And the challenge has been not getting the employment, it's getting them back for the second week. So that's been a challenge. We've also heard that they're concerned about, they're having trouble finding engineers of all types. If you're an engineer, you're golden. I mean, if you got kids who are going to college, encourage them to be engineers. So that's a real driver. The other thing is, and we hear this a lot from some of the larger corporations that are in the county, it's attracting young professionals. There's that narrative that young professionals want to be downtown. While initially out of college, I'm not going to refute that. I think you find a lot of kids graduating from college and being drawn to downtown Chicago. But what we're seeing in the demographics, once they hit 27, 28, 29, there's an exodus from the city and leaving Cook County. And so it's important that we're positioning the county and the village, and I want to compliment the village on this. You've done a nice job as you're targeting entrepreneurs and as you're targeting young professionals and making sure that they understand the benefits of being in the village. That's important because they're still young professionals. I like to tell companies they're young professionals with a little bit of experience and understand what it takes to succeed in a business. One of the other things on the marketing side is we've been out promoting what we call the Lake County Promise. Those are things that we can deliver on in Lake County. Well-educated workforce. Over 42% of the population in Lake County has a bachelor's degree or higher. That's the highest in all of the metro area. So Cook and the Collier counties, highest levels here in Lake County. Top rated schools nationwide. Global access. Being between Milwaukee and Chicago O'Hare. Chicago O'Hare is a huge driver on the private sector side. Talked to a lot of businesses that the location and the proximity and the ease to get to O'Hare from Lake County is very important. But they also like to have the opportunity to get up to Milwaukee and use General Mitchell Airport as well. You can get anywhere in the country nonstop from our location. The other thing we talk about is the balance between work and play. That quality of life that we have to offer here. So you have over 30,000 acres of just forest preserves. You have park districts like Mundelein offers, where you have opportunities for residents to live, work, and play. This is just a highlight of some of the professionals in Lake County who talk about the Lake County Promise and really getting testimonials from those individuals throughout the county. Talk a little bit about our 2016 work plan. I know I got about another 30 minutes. Joking, sorry. That was a sad comic. We're going to continue our business outreach and engagement efforts. We hope to continue. Like I said, we were close to 120 visits 2015. We'd like to expand that and get closer to 150 visits through 2016. We instituted last year a Municipal Economic Development Advisory Group where we meet quarterly with the economic development leaders at the municipal level. And that's a way to coordinate what's going on, share best practices, update the group on what we're doing at Lake County Partners. As well as bring in some value added. I know in our December meeting we had a senior economist from the Federal Reserve who gave an economic forecast going into 2016. We're going to continue the Lake County Promise marketing campaign, what we want to do. So if you look at economic development as a funnel, projects start at a multi-state region. They're looking Ohio, Illinois, Wisconsin, then they narrow it down. Then it becomes the Chicago region. Not everyone wants to be in the Loop, not everyone wants to be in the suburbs. We're at the point with the Lake County Promise is to differentiate ourselves when that prospect is looking at the Chicago region. So we know we're competing with downtown, we know we're competing with DuPage, we're also competing somewhat with Kenosha County. And then the next level of that funnel is when we identify those facilities, those land opportunities within specific communities within the county, and then we hand it off and partner with the local community to help close the deal. So we're going to continue with the Lake County Promise marketing campaign to differentiate Lake County from other areas in the metro area. I went over Leadership Lake County. That's our young professional initiative. We are working with local businesses and young professionals to understand what's important to them to decide to not only work in Lake County but live in Lake County. And we also want to make sure we're coordinating with companies so there's the same message is going out why it's important for young professionals to work here. You know, we talk a lot of young professionals. There's a lot of mid-career and more experienced professionals that are just as important for our economic development efforts. So I don't want folks to think, well, they're only thinking about 25 to 29. We're not, but that's a key demographic in the pipeline as we see baby boomers start to retire. And then the last part of our business work plan is we've really ramped up our business intelligence efforts. So we have a full-time analyst on board where we're looking at what's happening locally in our market, both on the real estate side and on the business side. Getting some specifics a little bit about what we're doing for the Village of Mundelein. Sorry for the eye chart. Not the details here are important. It's just to show we have developed, in our business outreach program, we've identified top companies in Mundelein that we're reaching out to and talking with. And as we do this, we're understanding what their needs are. And if one of their needs is a connection with the village and the village leadership, we are doing that. So the top half of this report talks about the companies we've talked to and the connections we've made. The bottom half lists the companies we've identified that we'd like to talk to, and we are working through to try to get those meetings and sit down and understand their issues. And this is something where we've worked with staff to understand, are there companies not on our list that you would like us to include on the list so we can go and talk to them and make the right connections. We talk a lot about, I've been at Lake County Partners now for a little over 4 years, or almost 4 years. And when I got there, we talked about referrals. We'd go do business meetings and we'd refer people. We don't talk about referrals anymore. We don't want to hand you off as a company to some referral. We want to make a connection. We want to be part of that connection throughout. So in our outreach meetings, we've had 7 connections since then. I'm going to highlight the one with the Mundelein Consolidated High School District 120. We went and talked to Amcor Flexibles in fourth quarter of last year. And when we came in there, they said, well, we don't remember why we scheduled this meeting, but we hope you're here to talk about talent and how we can get more engaged at the local level to get the talent we need here. And we said, well, that's one of the major topics of our discussion. And so within a week of being in there, we were working with District 120. They were doing a manufacturing career night. We had Amcor. They asked us if there's anyone that could help businesses that could be included in that event. We reached out to Amcor. They participated in the event. They're now talking not only at the high school level, but at the community college about putting some internships in place. And so that's when I talk about connections, that's really the story behind those connections. It's important. We're really a conduit to those solution providers on the workforce side. So businesses and those individuals who are unemployed or underemployed can make the connection that we need. Just talking a little bit, here's just some statistics now on what's going on here. You can see this is the unemployment rate. We've compared Mundelein to Vernon Hills, Lake County, Gurnee, Round Lake Beach. The most recent number was 5.1%, slightly up from the prior reporting segment of 4.9%, but it tends to trend with where the rest of the county has been, and it's been a downward trend. But here's what's really interesting. Nationwide, we've seen unemployment decrease, And one of the big drivers of that has been that the amount of individuals in the workforce, so workforce participation, that's been decreasing, and that's been one of the drivers for the rate going down. What we found here, and this is true across the whole county, but in the village, workforce participation has actually increased. So more of your residents, and workforce participation means you're either working or you're looking for a job. So in the past year, more of your residents have either worked or looking for a job. So the participation has increased. So, but while that has happened over that same year, while participation has increased, you've seen unemployment rate go down from start of 2014 to the end of 2015. So that means that more individuals in the village of Mundelein are working. This is just a quick snapshot of your vacancy rate. This is the office market. You can see you finished 2014 with an office vacancy of 8.2%. I can tell you in the overall, compared to the rest of the county, that is a lower number. The county's been right around 15% overall. The one big spike you see, the communities, the gray bars go in the order that they're listed, but the one big spike you see is the Libertyville office. That was when Motorola Mobility moved downtown and vacated that. So you see that spike, and you'll continue to see that. But the way your office market is trending, it's outperforming the county as a whole. The other vacancy rate I wanted to share was the industrial flex space. And this is, so starting Q1 of 2014, your industrial flex space was 8.8% vacancy. That's actually a pretty good rate there. I mean, I'm getting concerned that that's almost too low, that you don't have enough inventory as businesses are looking for space. And you've gone down 2% since that first quarter of 2014. So the space you've had, you've been able to fill it up. And that is, the downward trend is consistent with what's happening in the county. Once again, you're overperforming overall county levels by a lower vacancy rate at that 6.8%. Once again, as I wrap up, I just want to say, there's some things that are going on here in the village that you're doing really well from an economic development perspective. Like I said, your entrepreneurial focus, the focus on the employee, and how you're trying to position the village, not just for businesses, but for the talent to be here, live here, and work here is important. Your big incentive, I mean, that is a great tool to have, and one that, I've had 3 conversations already, and I don't even remember, it's Monday. So today, before the governor showed up, I talked to a couple different business owners who called. They didn't fit, but we talked about that big incentive. And that was important, so that's really good. And the last thing is what you've done with branding and communication is helping differentiate yourself, and that's what you want to do. I mean, Partners is trying to differentiate Lake County from Will County, Cook County, DuPage County, Kenosha County, and then once we succeed at that, it's the local communities. But let's always remember that the best incentive in the world is not going to overcome a bad site. And so you've got to have the site that meets the requirements. And you do, and I think that's where you've had some success. One thing I didn't touch on at the very beginning where I should have is Partners doesn't spend a lot of time on retail attraction. We focus on the primary jobs that drive the rooftops that then drive the retail. And the reason we do that is because our local communities know how to attract, keep, and work with retail. So we're trying to make sure that you have the demographics that retailers are looking for, so then you can go make that case and make that sale. So with that, I think I probably went over my time, but I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thank you very much. Can you handle a few questions?
I'd love
Mr.
to
Arndt?
handle a few questions.
Okay, go ahead. Trustee Abernathy.
I have a question, and I thank you so much for everything you do,
Thank you.
because I know it's not an easy job, all of Lake County. But you, not only handling the unemployment, you also work with, you had said businesses that had called you and that you explained them our big program. My question to you is, if those companies aren't locating in Lake County, do you know what their main reason for going outside of Lake County? Are they going out of the state? Are they going to a different county?
So we get our pipelines filled with a couple different what I consider projects. Most of it's business retention.
Okay.
So it's companies that have have grown, have maxed out their space, and they're looking. And I get a lot of, especially on the manufacturing industrial side, it's, we're maxing out our space, and boy, we're getting really big incentives from the the state of Wisconsin. So we talk a lot about, the attributes of being in Lake County and its workforce and how that competes with Pleasant Prairie or Kenosha. When it's new to the area, and that, quite honestly, that pipeline hasn't been as robust because we have some issues at the state level that need to be addressed. But when we're competing there, what we're finding is sometimes that we just don't have the actual physical space. So there was a time in economic development where you had a window of 18 months, 24 months for a building to be developed. Now, after the Great Recession, people held off, and then it became a very immediate need. And we've had a lack of inventory or product that, that's newer on the industrial side, that it's move-in ready to meet their 3-month timeline. So that's been a challenge, and that's why we've seen decisions made otherwise. I could go on, but
Right.
You were hoping this was going to be a short meeting.
Okay, that was my question.
Okay.
Wanted to see if they were going to other states or if they were going to stay here and,
Here's the biggest challenge. We're not getting as many projects as we should be getting for the workforce that we have, for the great location we have in the country, because unfortunately the reputation of the state is so poor. There's some great assets here in the state of Illinois, and we've got to start telling that story.
so the troubles downstate in Springfield are
Yes.
affecting us greatly.
Yeah, the businesses don't like unknown, and there's still a lot of unknown at the state level.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Kim?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had a question that not only goes to Lake County Partners, but also to our own staff, and that we have an EDC and they have an EDA, and I was wondering if there's any overlap or redundancy, or like what the differences are between what your ED advisory board, right, advisory group does, and then our EDC.
I can go first.
Okay.
I think there is Mike touched on it. I think that Mike's focus is Lake County and making Lake County as attractive as possible. Then it's our job locally to make Mundelein as attractive as possible. And I think Mike hit on an important part that was very short but very relevant, that regardless of what our incentives are, if we don't have the space, the right site, we're not going to attract those users. And we see that happening locally. We're challenged to find existing building stock that can easily accommodate, and easily means less expensively, to accommodate restaurants. When you really analyze what we have, our space is very difficult to move a restaurant. There's no buildings out there today that you can just move a restaurant into. However, I think the community really desires to have more restaurants. And so that creates a barrier to getting restaurants in. There's a shopping center, Holly Lake Plaza maybe, at Holly Street, and that's going through a renovation. That space will become easier because it's new space, and it's a great location. But beyond that, it's challenging. So I just see us focusing more on differentiating ourselves in the market, and that's what we've been focused on. I know that Lake County Partners doesn't get into the weeds that deep, but they're a great resource for us, and a lot of the information that we get is coming from Lake County Partners.
So if I can also ask then, I thought what I had heard, what Lake County Partners also does is every so often kind of do like a well-being check or check with the companies that they've brought in, right? Saying how are your size needs and your talent needs, and
Right.
kind of doing a temperature feel, which I thought like EDC kind of does something like that
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, we are, and Lake County Partners just kind of increases our capacity. I know that Mike and Mike Flynn had met earlier this year to discuss the list and to coordinate our efforts with their efforts, so that they're not knocking on the same door and say, heck, I just spoke to the village about it, or I just spoke to Lake County Partners about it. And so we're coordinating that effort so that they're hitting businesses that we're not.
You know, and we're eliminating some redundancies. I think your Economic Development Commission is doing a nice job. Their target's a little bit different than some of the industry and businesses that we're talking to. But we're making sure that we're talking with the leadership so that it's not a duplication of effort, but it's we're complementing each other's efforts.
Okay. I have one more question, in that I know it's only $5,000, but tied to it though, many workplaces, including mine, have like Baldrige programs and dashboards, and how are we going to increase what we're doing? So my question to you is something similar. I think I heard you touch on more site visits or something like that, but what is something that will increase in 2016 that is definitely for Mundelein? Not only just all of Lake County. Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
That's a great question. So there's metrics we're tracking, and the thing that's interesting about economic development, it's a lot more outputs than outcomes, which is frustrating. So a lot of times, when we're focused on outcomes and you're doing your dashboards and you're tracking, you'd like to just say, well, we're just going to have 150 visits versus 120. Okay, so what? What happens? So it's the connection. So we talked about, we went out and we had 14, let's say we've had 15 visits, we've had 7 connections. What are we doing? One, we want to have more visits here at the Village of Mundelein. We want more visits everywhere. So as we increase the number of visits countywide, it naturally spreads across the county. The other thing is we want to make sure we're making the right connections, so that they're talking to the appropriate individuals that are offering the workforce development, talent development solution, whether it's the high school level, whether it's community college. Even companies want to talk to our graduate school of management it's based out of Lake Forest. What connections are we making so the company feels connected here and they can make a case of, because companies need to justify, especially the bigger ones that have multiple locations, why this location here in Lake County. We're trying to make sure that they have all the ammunition they need to make that case.
So if there's anything else you need from us further, so that we can help you bring in places, for sure let us know. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, moving on in the agenda, there are no public hearings this evening. That takes us to my report. I have one motion, and then I have a few dates to go over, so let's just go right to item A. This is a motion, please, if I could have one, to adopt a resolution appointing Amanda Orenchuk as Acting Director of Community Development.
So moved.
Motion by Abernathy.
Second.
Second by Kim. All right, I'll kick off the discussion. I've spoken with Mrs. Orenchuk, and she's graciously stepped up and said she would be glad to act as our acting director while we conduct a search and fill the spot permanently. Amanda Orenchuk has been with the village 9 years. She's been a senior planner with us, I'm going to say 3 or 4 years, something like that, 3 years, roughly.
Yeah, about 3.
About 3 years, okay. And by doing this, it just lets staff know and also the community know who's the individual that you take stuff to and is running the department right now. And so it's something we really need to do now. So, any other discussion? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Norton?
Yes.
Rikus?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A few dates to go over. On 3 weeks from tonight, on February 29th, we're going to have a joint session between the Village Board, the Plan and Zoning Commission, and then also the Economic Development Commission. That will be at the Doubletree Hotel, 7 o'clock. It's going to be called a Committee of the Whole, and we're going to it's going to be an evening exclusively devoted to economic topics. I'll do a presentation. We'll have questions, commentary from the commissioners and the board, and then also public commentary from the public as well. So the public is definitely invited. Last year, we went to the training room at the police station, and it was packed out. And that was with, I'd say, a decent amount of publicity, but this time we're going to go to the DoubleTree, and they have that ballroom where it just depends on how many people we get, but we can add a section as it goes in case we get a lot of people. We'll just see, but I hope we get a good turnout. I really do. 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock on Monday, the 29th. The other thing is the Mayor's Cup Math Challenge is coming up on March 13th. This will be the 3rd annual, and it's exclusively funded by local businesses. And every year, the funding has just gone up tremendously. First year we had 4,000 in prizes to the Math Challenge winners. Last year we had 7, and so far this year we're looking to commit. At this point, it's at least $12,000 going to middle schoolers and high schoolers. Top 10 places in each category will get cash scholarships. And so if you're interested, if you're watching, or if you know someone that's interested in middle school, you have to live within the D120 district, basically, or attend Carmel, then just talk to your math teacher. You have to talk to your math teacher to enroll and register to be part of the Math Challenge, okay? So those are 2 dates. That concludes my report, and we don't have anything else before we move to trustee reports. Let's go to trustee reports. Public Works Committee, Trustee Russell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have a couple of items tonight. The first has to do with energy efficiency project. We're going to be moving towards LED streetlights. I'd like to make a motion to authorize staff to sign a performance contract with Control Technology and Solutions, LLC, for the purpose of beginning work on the village-wide LED street light retrofit energy efficient project.
I'll second.
Motion by Russell, second by Norton. Discussion. No? Okay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Russell.
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Rikus.
Yes.
Semple.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Abernathy.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item relates to the community park traffic signal construction. The first motion is to approve a change order, number 1, to the community park traffic signal construction project, increasing the contract value in the amount of $41,797.38.
Motion by Russell,
Second.
second by Norton. Discussion. Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Russell.
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Semple.
Yes.
Rikus.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Abernathy.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Second motion is to approve a purchase order and payment in the amount of $41,797.38 to Hometown Electric Incorporated for the Community Park Traffic Signal Construction Project.
Motion by Russell,
Second.
second by Kim. Discussion. All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Russell.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Abernathy.
Yes.
Semple.
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Rikus.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, that's it. That's all we got
All
tonight.
right, thank you. Next up, Finance Committee, Trustee Semple.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have 2 items on the agenda this evening. The first motion is a motion so Trustee Kim can abstain, as it's a payment to her. With that in mind, I'd like to make a motion to approve payment to Trustee Kim for the purchase of adult prom posters for the Statute Committee. The amount of the payment is $100 as submitted in the agenda this evening.
Can I ask a question?
After you second.
Motion by Semple,
I'll second it.
second by Abernathy. Discussion.
Just a question I had about this. Why are we, if this is for the statute committee, why isn't the statute committee paying the bill? Why is the village paying the bill? If the statute committee's raised money, then why aren't they paying the bill?
I'm not sure. What was the?
I'm sure staff has a more technical answer, but basically, the statute committee's account is a village account, and so money coming out of there needs to be approved.
Correct, Trustee Kim. The village is paying it out of the statute donations.
Okay, all right. It just, the way it was
Yeah.
You
I
know what
think-
I'm saying?
I
It's
think-
just the way it was, I was like, wait, why are we paying
I think
that?
trustee Kim purchased it, but it was for the statute stuff, and so we're reimbursing trustee Kim out of the statute fund for that purchase.
Okay, that was my, I just, the way it sounded, it was coming. Okay, no problem.
Anyone else? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Norton?
Yes.
Rikus?
Yes.
Kim?
Abstain.
Motion carries.
Second and final item is a motion to pay the bills. With that in mind, I'd like to make a motion to approve the payment of bills as indicated in the governing body report for the period between January 26, 2016 and February 8, 2016 for the amount of $567,216.31 as submitted in your board packets this evening.
Motion by Semple,
Second.
second by Abernathy. Discussion. Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Norton?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Rikus?
Yes.
Motion carries.
That's it for finance this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Next up, Public Safety Committee, trustee Rikus.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I only have one item on the agenda, and that's to make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the Lake County Health Department Service Agreement.
Okay,
Second.
motion by Rikus, second by Kim. Discussion. Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Rikus?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Norton?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Motion
Okay.
carries.
And then I just would like to address Chief Gunther and see if he has anything that he'd like to go over with us.
I have a couple quick things, and I know that Chief Yoder has a few things for you, too. Just a reminder, this weekend is street scenes at Carmel High School, so we'll be preparing for that. Sorry. And also on February 16th, we'll have the next session of our Women's Self-Defense class. It goes February 16th through March 10th, I believe, on Tuesday nights at the police department. So if anybody's interested, they can sign up. There's spots available. That's it for me. Thank you.
And Acting Chief, Deputy Chief Yoder, would you have anything to say about this beautiful symbol arts that has been distributed?
Yes, our association purchased badges for the membership for the 100th year of the fire department. They asked that if I would be kind enough to deliver them to the trustees and the mayor, and I said I would be more than happy to do that, so that's their gift to you. So that's that.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, that's our report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Can I make since we're still on this, is there any way we could figure out a better way to address Deputy Chief Yoder? Do we have, is that his technical?
I think chief would be appropriate.
Okay, so we can,
That's what I call
okay, so we can refer to him as Chief Yoder.
it. Yes.
Okay. We keep saying Bill is addressing him as Chief Deputy Chief, and I think it's a little confusing.
I think chief is more appropriate for Chief Yoder.
I
Thank you
do
very much for bringing that up.
Okay, so I just kind of wanted to clear that up. Thank you.
Next up, let's see, where are we?
Me.
Community and Economic Development Committee, trustee Abernathy.
Well, look at that. I don't have any motions tonight, and that is pretty rare. Usually I have motions, but I do have 3 new businesses in town. We have Diaz Auto Service at 805 East Orchard, General Mechanical, Auto Muffler and Tire Repairs. We have Western Export Corporation on 1333 Wilhelm Road, and they do wholesales of kitchen and bath cabinets. They have a showroom there, so if you want to see anything. Then we had the Body Wipe Company at 1027 East High Street, and they have a very unique concept, so you can go give them a call or check them out if you have any inclinations. The other thing is Chief tried to take a little bit of my thunder with street scenes. But Street Scenes is this weekend at Carmel High School, February 12th and 13th. Student night open to, is Thursday night, and that is open to our middle school children, grades 6th through 8th grade. Street Scenes is a great event. So if you have a chance, please come. There's tickets all over the place. It's a fundraiser for the school, but it's also a very large community event. And that's all I have for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Trustee Norton.
I
was
think you
skipped.
Wait a minute,
skipped
what did I
something.
skip? Marketing again. Communication and Marketing, Trustee Kim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It wasn't the first time, though, but that's all right. Thank you. All right, so Street Scenes was already talked about 3 times. No, I'm just kidding. And then, let's see, what else do we have here? The Daily Herald is calling for entries on the 2016 Reader's Choice Awards. So we're encouraging our residents to please submit nominations for some of the restaurants and places around town. The Mundelein Park District has won Best Park District for 4 years running. Steeplechase has earned Best Golf Course for 3 years running. And some of our restaurants like Frank's for the Memories, Taste of Paris, Hong Kong Chop Suey, Park Street, they're all award winners. So this all depends on you, the residents and the readers of the Daily Herald. So please go online before February 24th to nominate and vote for your favorite places. The next Coffee with the Mayor will be February 13th. And that will be at Taste of Paris with Trustee Weekus. And the annual Business Appreciation and Networking Breakfast that just passed had 39 businesses participate and 150 Mundelein business professionals attend. So special thanks to the MBA, the EDC, and the Doubletree Hotel for their assistance. We touched on the Mayor's Math Cup, and so then just the default of sign up for our weekly e-newsletter, and if you haven't already, like us on Facebook. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, next up, Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, Trustee Norton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have one motion to make tonight. I would like to make a motion to approve the supplemental agreement for construction phase services with Gawalt Hamilton Associates Incorporated in the not-to-exceed amount of $280,970.27 for the Illinois 176, Illinois 60, Illinois 83 Shank Avenue intersection improvement project, and authorize the village engineer to sign the supplemental agreement.
Okay,
Second.
motion by Norton, second by Kim. Discussion? Okay. Clerk, please call the roll.
Norton?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Rikus?
Yes.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That'll conclude my report.
Thank you. Okay, other reports. Does any trustee have any report, comment, question at this point?
Yeah, could I make
Yes,
so I'd just like to remind everybody out there watching that a week from yesterday, February 14th, which is Valentine's Day as well, is the last day to register to vote if you're interested in voting for the Democratic or Republican primaries. Those are held on March 15th, and so anybody who wants to vote either side, you have to be registered a week from yesterday. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I do
Anyone
have,
else?
yes, I do have an issue that I'd like to bring up. When we were at the legislative breakfast this past weekend, one of the things that all the legislators called for was a resolution from villages to send downstate about getting a budget passed. And I didn't know if that was something that maybe we could work on, and something that we could send as we did with our local distributive funds. We did a resolution. Maybe we could do the same thing with a budget, is send word down to Springfield that we need, it's hurting us. As Lake County Partners just said, businesses are afraid to come here when they see the state in the turmoil they're in. So maybe that's something we could put together to send down to the state.
Does anyone want to weigh in on that? Was at the breakfast? I heard a few things. I heard that, but there were other things that were said along those lines. You were here when we went down this road of addressing Springfield issues with the previous board,
Correct.
and
I'm not saying we need to specifically get into the details or minutia of what they need to do to make it happen, but maybe something that says, let's work to compromise, let's stop canceling sessions. You're elected and paid to work, please do your job. And that, to me, it's unheard of that they're not in session until a budget is taken, has been presented, a balanced budget.
Can I ask just a quick question?
Yes.
To whom would you send that resolution? To whom would you send the
To
resolution?
whom would I send the
Yeah,
resolution?
I asked you first.
It's not that the resolution, it could be addressed to the governor, the leadership down at the General Assembly, to the Senate President, to Speaker of the House, to the governor, to all of the representatives and senators in the state of Illinois.
Wow, okay.
It could be a
Thank you.
resolution to all of them saying, do your job, work, and let's get a budget done. From what I'm hearing, it's not going to be a budget till this election's over in November. That just can't continue.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Didn't we send a letter like that? That said,
No, the resolution we
your-
passed previous was regarding the funds that were being withheld.
the LGDF?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, amongst other things.
So I thought Russell did a story, and the quote was something along the lines of like, if anybody else didn't do their job, they'd probably be fired. I mean, that was like my quote, right? So I remember giving this to Russell. So I thought we sent a letter like this. And I was at that breakfast too, and my question is, all the different state reps and senators were up there, and they were saying, send a letter pressuring, and it didn't say anything specific, just putting the pressure on, saying, come to an agreement and have a budget. But my question that I asked internally was, aren't you the people who will do that though? So why are we sending you a letter when you're saying it out of your own mouth? Like, you know what I mean?
Holly, they can't be in session unless the Speaker of the House and the President call for session. If they cancel session, they can't be working. So that's part of the problem. They can do this while they're in session, just like we do this while we're here at a board meeting. They need to be in session in order to do that. When Speaker Madigan or President Cullerton cancel their sessions, they're not working. And that's what's been happening. They're canceling sessions. As it is now, they only work two weeks out of the month, Tuesday through Thursday, twice. What I think they should be down there, and that's what they're getting paid to do, since they only work January to May, they should be down there nonstop working on this budget.
So then the letter that we send shouldn't be to the people who were on that stage telling us to send the letter. It would be to the ones who
leadership.
are canceling. I mean, in order to
Correct. To the-
clarify
like
who
I
this
s-
letter
yeah,
is going to.
It should be to the governor and to the leadership of the Senate and House.
Would anyone else be interested in us pursuing a resolution like that? Other trustees?
I would certainly vote in favor of it, but I'm not sure that Speaker Madigan is going to pay it much mind.
Doesn't matter whether he does.
But I would absolutely vote in favor of it,
Yeah.
certainly.
Anyone else want to weigh in?
I would say that if it's going to be a general letter that says get to work, that we try and combine our efforts with either the Lake County Municipal League or Illinois Municipal League, like we did for LGDF, because us just sending it by ourselves, it didn't have the weight of a punch like the collective did. I mean, that's how we got our LGDFs released.
And we did a resolution ourselves.
But like, they all lobbied together.
Right, I think it was coordinated through Lake County Municipal League. There were sample resolutions that were sent out, or letters, or whatever
Okay.
we did.
Well, we can look into that. You up for that?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I think we need to keep it really simple and real short, because I don't think they have very long attention spans in Springfield, and I'm not sure all of them know how to read down there based upon the results we're seeing. And I'm not really holding my breath that they'll even pay attention to something like this. There's bigger political issues down there that's affecting everybody, and I don't think they care what we think. That's just my opinion. But I'm all for it. If it'll work, why not?
It is curious, though, at that breakfast that they brought up the idea of us doing resolutions.
Well, Springfield wants us to do their dirty work for them.
Yes. No. Yes, we know that. Yes, anyone else? You?
I would just say
Okay.
we can keep it bipartisan,
Yeah.
that
Okay.
I would support it.
You okay with that? All right. Well, we'll look into that then. Okay? All right, that was under other reports. That brings us to the omnibus vote items. There are 9 items, but first we need to address several of these.
Yes.
Mr. Lebedo,
Yes.
which one should we address here?
They would be items number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Everything related to Orchard Meadows subdivision. We had received a letter today from the attorney representing Cahovanian Homes and had asked for these items to be pulled for the agenda and rescheduled for March 14th. They just have a timing issue with the closing on the property and when the property would be entitled or rezoned. And so they've asked us to move these action items to after their closing date. Their closing date is March 1st, 2016, and we would then move these 5 items to the March 14th board meeting. Did I say March 1st the first time, or did I repeat? I said March 1st? The closing date is March 1st. They would ask that these items be pulled from the agenda tonight and scheduled for March 14th.
Okay. Then I'd like a motion then to pull items 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 from the omnibus vote list.
So moved.
Second?
Okay. Motion by Rikus, second by Norton. Discussion? All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Rikus,
Yes.
Norton,
Yes.
Abernathy, Semple,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Russell.
Yes.
Motion carries. That leaves items 1, 2, 8, and 9. Does any trustee wish to pull any of those 4 items?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
Item number 2?
item number 2. Anyone else?
And number 9, please.
Very good. Anyone else? Okay, then the omnibus list. We'll deal with the 2 items remaining, and then we'll get to these others. So I need a motion, please, to pass on the omnibus list items 1 and 8.
So moved.
Motion by Kim.
Second?
Second by Norton. Discussion? All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Kim,
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
Rikus.
Yes.
Russell.
Yes.
Semple,
Yes.
Abernathy.
Yes.
Motion carries. That takes us to item 2. Trustee Norton?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a concern with item number 4 under the Class G license, which to me, it seems like it's some antiquated language that I don't know if there maybe has an intention that I'm unaware of, but I'll read it here. The condition of the liquor license would be to have no coin-operated amusement machines on the premises. And to me, that sounds like they're banning pinball machines and arcade machines from an establishment that has a liquor license. Is that the case?
No, I don't believe it's intended for that. It's more of the video gaming type
Sure.
machines, yeah.
Sure, and that's how I sort of assumed it was interpreted, but just the way that it's phrased, it makes it seem as if it would be open to that sort of. So as long as we're not like enforcing it in such a way that I know like Bill's Pub, for example, has a pretty solid arcade.
They got pinball machines in there? Oh, we're going down there tomorrow. No, that's not what it's intended for.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Chief Gunther. That concludes my concern.
Okay.
I have a question on that then. If it's antiquated, like, is it something that can be removed? Because actually, the video gaming, if that's what it's to prevent, it uses electronic and there are no coins.
Right.
It doesn't have to be right now. I'm just saying, I
Yeah,
mean,
we
we could
could-
bring it up a different meeting. I'm just saying it's,
Yeah, well,
it
the
could
short,
be anything. It could be a M&M machine, I mean.
yeah, the short answer is anything can be amended. So we would, if the board would like, we can take a look at this language and see if it's necessary and look back to the reasons why we have that in there. If that's what, if you want us to look at it.
Well, yeah, I would think that if it doesn't apply, it should be amended.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there was a reason that they added in item G4, have no coin-operated amusement machines on the premises. There's got to be a reason, right?
My thinking is that it just was written at a time when the slot machines would use an actual coin instead of, today they're typically electronic. It's not, you're not putting coins into the slot machine.
I think Mr. Flynn's all over this.
He's got a book. I don't know where that came
He's
from.
been around a while, he might
One of
know.
those.
you might get the answer here on the fly. Otherwise,
Okay.
we'll definitely look into
I
it.
think we'll
right?
take, I think we'll take a look at it.
We'll take a
We
look
don't
at it.
need to get into
Okay.
a long discussion about it.
All right.
Provide
Thank
an
you.
explanation or suggest an amendment.
We'll get to the bottom of it and maybe do a memo or something. Let us know. Okay, so
Okay.
item 2 then, do I have a motion, please, to pass number 2? Can you make that motion?
Yeah, no, I will make the motion to pass an ordinance amending ordinance number 041269, an ordinance regulating the sale of alcoholic liquor in the village of Mundelein, Illinois.
Motion by Norton,
Second.
second by Kim. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Norton?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Abernathy? Semple?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Rikus?
Yes.
Motion carries. That takes us to item 9. Trustee Semple?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to have Pete go over real quickly what we're doing here, because just in case anybody has any questions, what kind of enhancements or changes are we making, how dramatic, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, for those watching, we're addressing an item 9, Mundelein Plumbing Code.
Thank you, Trustee Semple.
So-
Ideally, what we're doing is we're updating our plumbing code. The state requires that we adopt a plumbing code, which is a state code. And in order to do that, we are sometimes allowed amendments that we have in the past. Back in 2008, when we amended the code, we looked at it and really scrubbed it for all the hard restrictions and things like that were in place for many, many years. So we actually took the code and lessened our amendments and followed more of the state code, made it more available for anybody who's any kind of approved plumbing materials. And it really kind of opened up the construction industry that way. This time around, we're doing the same thing, and the state's kind of following what we did in 2008 and saying, everybody's going to follow the code, no more amendments. So we were kind of the first ones of the year to do that, and through back and forth with the Illinois Department of Public Health, we were able to get 5 amendments, which is really about our water source depth that Public Works requires, and a couple of very common sense, what we feel, installations for serviceability of plumbing, protecting your ceilings from, your washing machine overflowing from the second floor and things like that. So ideally, it's the plumbing code with every availability you can have.
Thank you, Pete.
Okay.
With that in mind, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to pass an ordinance creating the Mundelein Plumbing Code as submitted in our packets this evening.
Motion by Semple,
I'll second. Oh.
second by Trustee Abernathy. Discussion? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Semple?
Yes.
Abernathy? Kim?
Yes.
Norton?
Yes.
Rikus?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Motion carries. That takes us to village staff reports. Village Administrator, Mr. Lebedo.
I have no report tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Village Attorney, Mr. Marino.
I have no report, and I understand there is no need for an executive session.
Okay. Village Clerk.
No report.
All right, no other business. That takes us to the end. Thank you, everyone, for attending and watching. Do I have a motion, please, to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Abernathy, second by Kim. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, the same sign. Thank you very much.